but I'm sure that everybody's spirit is very high. We are all connected with education, and through education, we all are connected with children, right? We are here to make a difference in the life of children. It's the first thing as educationists that we all have. That yes, we came into this profession because we wanted to do something for children. We wanted to devote our life, right? So, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am. We can hear you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I always feel that when we talk about children, and it's been 30 years that I have been in this education line. And in all these years, with every day, I know some, all of you must have got so much of experience in this line. And every time when we go through one generation, one session finishes and the other session comes, we see a change in children. Something new happens with every new session, and something new we find in children. There might be some new good thing happening with them. We find some very good positive points in the new in the new class that comes in front of us. And also we find there might be some things we feel that we need to work on with the children. I won't call it negative, because as educationists we shouldn't be talking about negative things, but yes, there are things that we need to work on, and we feel okay, so this is something that this is something just come new, and this is what I have to work with my children and make sure this does not happen. This is one job in the world, being a teacher, I feel, which is all about dedication and devotion. Every other job, people, I think it's 9 to 5 job, right? People go for their jobs, they come back home, and they get busy with their family and things, but our day never ends, right? Even when we are home, other thing comes, and so much mental stress also we go through. So when I wanted to talk about mental health, especially for children, but yes, for everybody, and during this pandemic time, during this time of COVID-19, when we all are so much confined at home, and uncertainty is something which is engulfed all of us. The most important thing is the uncertainty. There is something that a problem comes, we know that it is going to go, and in during this much time, everything is going to start on a normal way again. But this is one situation when we are just not sure about it, right? We are waiting every day. We see something new. Every day we hear about some new thing happening, right? And I think the most affected part of this is this, that whom it is affecting most is our children, right? A child is somebody who is so chirpy, cheery, always bouncing, right? We all know how difficult it is for us to make children sit in a classroom, right? So many times when we are taking classes, we see that the children, after some time, either they are looking out of the window, or they want to go to the washroom, or they want to go and drink water, anything, right? They're full of energy. And school is the best place where this energy is worked upon. They work on this energy in the school. They have games period, they have skill development classes, they have music and art classes, and all these things they are occupied. And yes, their energy flows out, it comes out, okay? It is spent, they spend their energy. But now things are very difficult, and children are all confined to the four walls of home. And then it becomes a job as educationist. It's a job that during this time also, how can we do our level best to keep our children occupied and using their energy in a positive way, and keeping a track on things, that they're not getting stressed and not getting into some mental stress, not getting depressed, right? Not feeling alone. So these are the things that we need to focus on. And I believe that every school, every teacher, every leader in a school is doing their best and working extra hours to bring about this thing, the change in the children, and let the children feel comfortable wherever they are. So this is particular one thing that we all are doing. When we talk about mental health, and when we talk about children, I think India is a country which has got maximum largest group of children in the world, according to the statistical data. If you just see, India is one country where there are children in every age group, and you find them that all these children, they are the strongest group that we have. And as such, we say India is a very young country. right? Most of our population is below 40 years of age. Maximum of our more than 60-70% of our population is in this particular age group. So India is a very young country, and most of them, and the largest group of children in the world anywhere are, so they are in India. So then naturally it becomes more, it falls more on our shoulders that we look after our children well, and we come up with things that how do we keep them occupied. So we started this Bal Sathi, something I wanted to talk to you about. I got to know about Bal Sathi, it's almost 2 years now that this program was brought to our school. And yeah, I'm very thankful to the person whose brainchild is Bal Sathi, Mr. Abhishek Sharma. And he brought this particular thing, and that was a time when he was going from school to school talking about his scheme Bal Sathi. And when I heard it in the first time, I also felt a little apprehensive that it seems to be very difficult to manage it. It's not going to be very easy, and they are talking, and it won't be very easy for us to manage that. But so then, as usually when somebody comes to us and brings some proposal, the first thing we say that, okay, let's do the pilot project. So I asked them the same thing, and I asked them to do a pilot project. And when this pilot project was done, so they said, I said, okay, do it with my 11th class students, because I think 11th class is the time in a child's life when a big change comes. And sudden children have this responsibility increased on their shoulder, that now they are senior, and now they have become more, they have more to think about career, and all changes related to age, changes in body, changes in mind, the mental changes, everything comes almost all together in this particular age. So we had done a pilot project with Bal Sathi, and the results which came out, the study, I was literally shocked that I did not know that my children my children needed so much of help and support. And a child who's smiling in front of us is not always a happy child. And this is one thing we don't always realize. We find, okay, the person is laughing, smiling, looking good, singing, talking, and all these things. So this makes us feel that the child is absolutely normal, but it is not like that. There might be different problems that we do not know. And always when a child talks to a stranger, when they talk to somebody they do not know very well, but they know that the person is of some, the person is, when those counselors speak to them, those who have experienced it, those who know how to talk to a child so that the child opens up, when they do this particular thing, then you realize that what are the things they come up with, the stories they come up with, the things that they are going in their life, the problems they are feeling at home, the problems they are feeling in the school, among their peer group. So many different things comes up, and then that's the time I realized that, okay, we are going to go through this Bal Sathi, and we will initiate this project. When I talk about Bal Sathi, it's a student health benefit program in which in which we see, so in this program in our school we have a doctor, a nurse, a clinical psychologist, and counselors, 3-4 counselors, a dietitian. All these people together make a team of Bal Sathi. And I have my own schools. I would like to talk to you about, I will introduce you, and she'll come and speak to you later, because I wanted you to know the cases so that they can help you. I have my school's clinical psychologist who's a very expert in her profession, a very well-renowned person who's been dealing with child psychology a lot, Miss Aanchal. She's there with me, and she's going to talk to you about everything which is there, and going to tell you about how much we do and what is the right process to go about it. And she might give you all the ideas and the inputs, that if there's something that you need to do with the children in your school or at home, how do you go about it, and how can you help the child in every way possible when they are at home, or when they are out. And she's been with us for more than a year now, and she has worked a lot. She has a lot experience of over 3 years working with Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, government and private hospitals. A lot of experience she comes with. And that's what the team that we have is made up of. We have professionals who are very thorough with their knowledge and know their subject very well. So she will be coming and she'll be explaining to you about Bal Sati. After I tell you what is my own experience as the principal of the school, a leader, and somebody who deals with everything in the school. So when we came up with this Bal Sati, we made a timetable and made it a part of our school timetable, where we had our children going for, it's not that we are selecting children and we are not labeling them. That's the first thing that we have to keep in mind, that when we talk about this and when we want our children to do this particular thing, so we make sure that that we have entire class going for a workshop with Bal Sati. So when we have these workshops with Bal Sati, the counselors talk to all the children of the classroom. They sometimes share a questionnaire with them. They give they speak to these children for five minutes and listen to and judge a child, right, putting relevant questions to them. And then they decide, okay, this is a child and who's introvert, shy, and we need to find out a reason that it is okay, or there's something the child is going through. Not only that, we have given forms to our teachers also. And the Bal Sati team, the clinical psychologists have taken workshops with our teachers also, and trained the teachers to read the child properly also. That, okay, that when you see a child in front of you, as teachers, when we have some 30 children, 40 children in front of us and we are teaching them, so many times we are not able to give individual attention to these children. But yes, as a teacher, we surely get time to observe them. And we get the time, okay, in our mind, at the back of our mind, we have this thought, okay, when you're giving a lesson also, that, okay, if this child is not listening to me, and this child smiles less, right? And this child is always in himself or herself, and not indulging with everybody, not mingling with all the other children in the classroom. So these are the things that we need to see in the child as teachers. And when we go through these particular things and we see children with this particular trait, so teachers also make notes about children, and then they share this notes with the counselors. So we have counselors. So, okay, for grade 1, there's one person who deals with grade 1, 2, 3, things like that. It's all divided, right? And so that every age group, so those age group problems, there are different problems which comes with children of different age group. They might have problems like they do not like to come to school, and there might be a small incident which is happening which makes them feel that, okay, that their self-respect is hurt or their ego is hurt, and I've been scolded in front of everybody. Children these days are very feeling this offense at very small things. At small things, they start feeling bad about it. They're hurt. They've become oversensitive, most of them. It's a fact that I think you all have also noticed with the children, that even when the teachers are not scolding them that way, and being just speaking to, sometimes you need to raise your voice also, something, so they feel, okay, they feel very hurt, they become very sensitive about it. This generations that are coming in front of us are the ones which are overprotected. And these are the things that I feel about it, that these are the generations which are overprotected. And for every single thing that we see, the parents are also overprotecting their children. And for small things, they will ask the class teacher that, what happened today? My child has not finished the tiffin today. My child has got a scratch on the knee today. And the same thing might be happening at home. But then that particular time, it is, it's okay. We tell the children that, okay, you go ahead and it's okay, go and play, and go ahead with your work, whatever it is. But yes, in the school, if something happens, it's a big thing. So we have parents who have become overprotective, and I don't blame anybody for becoming overprotective. These are difficult times. This is not that safe world that it used to be. There was a time when the schools were very safe, and so many incidents have happened which makes parents feel that the child is not safe in the school also. So for everything that is happening in the world, there's a reason, right? And what is our job? That what best we can do, what best systems that we can come up with, what best study that we can come up with, which can help us deal with these things and come to a safer world and a safer thought process, which can help us in our thought process. And we can come up with suggestions for parents also. We can come up with suggestions and actions for our teacher and education fraternity also, so that we can work better with our children. And there are so many incidents that are happening. If you see during this particular time, the stress that is on everybody, even on parents. It's not only about children that the mental health is a big problem. It's with parents also, that everybody is used to going for a job every day. You're not confined to four walls of a room or in your home all the time. You're going out, you're mingling with people, you're sharing things, but now you don't have anybody. So these are the things which are happening. So one thing which I always which I shared with my parents, and we have lots of workshops with our parents through Bal Sathi, and otherwise also when we have these workshops, we talk about how this time can be utilized in building the family bonds amongst each other, how we can build better bonds in a family, and there can be better interaction between parent and the child. And the things which were missing because of parents' life being very busy. You have to work, you have to earn money in today's world. It's not easy. So with that, we definitely end up giving less time to our children. So through this particular this thing, we are trying to give that much of, we have to make use of what we have right now with us, the time, right? Properly utilize the time and give time to our children and understand them better. And with this better understanding, we are going to make our children more stable mentally and ready to face anything that comes in front of them. They will be having this thing in them that, okay, whatever problem comes, they will be ready to face it. They will be stronger from inside. They will be connected to their inner self, which is very important. So this is one thing. And in Bal Sathi, we we will be discussing with you different areas, okay, that children with this particular in this particular primary school children, what are the problems that they face and how do we deal with it? The children in a middle school level, what are the problems that they face and how do we deal with that? And the same thing goes with the senior school children. There's so many problems that come up as the children are growing up, right? And so many issues that they face. So there's a different dealing with them also. You have to have different solutions for them. You have to have different reading parameters for these children to find out the things that they are going through. There are so many things that I've seen in my school. Like one example I would like to share is somebody who ended up being a head girl in my school. This girl, when she came to grade 11, she wanted to take a different subject. This is one thing which we face when the children come to 11th class a lot. And it happens that the parents want to live their own dreams, which they could not through their children. So a child is in a different direction, wants to do something else in the life. The child might be wanting to become a music person. Music is the interest that they have. But as a parent, we feel that, okay, music, there's no money in music. There's no stability in music. We are not seeing that the world is changing. What were the problems in the world during our time is not the same things that our children are facing. If you read the different studies done by the Economic Forum in the world, the children who are in pre-primary and the things that we're teaching them, when these children will be going to the job market, the jobs that they will be taking, they will be doing, they do not exist right now. Such jobs are not there in the world right now. So these are the things that we have to understand and explain to the parents. So when we look into Bal Sathi and we want to work on children, then we have to work with their parents also. We have to give all this knowledge, share all this knowledge with the parents also, because it's not that they are not wanting to do something, but they are not well equipped. They do not know that what are the things happening, changing in the world as far as a child's world is concerned, a child's own inner circle is concerned. What are the things which are changing with the child that we do not realize so much. So these are the different things that we need to work very much on. So before anything else, before I come back and talk to you more about my experiences, I would like to introduce to you Miss Aanchal Harjai. Aanchal, are you there?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Okay, Aanchal, can we see you?
Yes, ma'am.
So here is Miss Aanchal. She is working, she is a part of Ramagya family and she's working with us for more than a year now. And she heads my Bal Sathi team in the school and she looks after them very well. So I would like Aanchal, if you want to share the screen, I think, can you do that or you need some help from the host?
I can, I think I can do that, ma'am. I've been
Okay, please try. So she'll be sharing the screen and sharing the screen with you and talking to you about how do we go about. And then if you have some things that you want to ask us, we'll be definitely answering you that. Please continue, Aanchal.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for such an acknowledging welcome. I'll just share my screen and Good evening, everyone. All of you are here, and thanks all for giving me an opportunity to speak and express my views on this forum. So, just a small compilation that we have done about what we do in Balsati and what exactly Balsati is all about. So, as Mem rightly said, Balsati is our student benefit program, and we are focusing thoroughly on assessing the child, followed by detailed intervention plan, follow-up session, monthly diet charts, and EMRs, electronic medical health records, to the parents as well, so as to keep them also updated about what we are doing in the school and to be on the same page. So, as Balsati, we aim to provide academic, social, emotional, physical, and nutritional development of each and every child from elementary, middle, and high school. And we start by doing physical assessments that includes head to toe physical examination, dental checkup, eye checkup, healthy hygiene habits, which is so important, customized and need based intervention plans, interactive workshops, and expert talks. So I think somebody is okay. Let's not do that. Let's try and maintain the decorum of this space and not fidget with the digital use that we have. Okay. So I think now I have, yes. Okay. So I'll just erase what has been done. So, interactive workshops and expert talks by our doctors, or even when we organize health camps, we have experts coming on from outside and taking up workshops with children, follow up sessions, and referrals. If we feel that a child needs to be referred for any of the physical symptom that might be presenting, so we do regular referrals also and be in touch with the parents for that as well. So, nutritional health, as we know that it is extremely important, diet and nutrition also play a very important role when we talk about kids' health and their eating habits. And a lot of, so while we are giving them, each and every child is given an individualized dietary plan as well. So a lot of things need to be kept in mind when we are doing that individualized plan. What is the nutritional intake? What are the dietary habits? What is the daily requirement, their BMIs, and their lifestyles. Everything has to be taken into consideration while we're sharing the nutritional diet plans also. Uh, I'd request everybody to please mute their, yes, to mute themselves. Okay. When I talk about mental health, so as rightly said by ma'am, mental health is not about what is an outward expression. No, there wouldn't be any visible symptoms. There wouldn't be broken bones. There wouldn't be runny nose. We wouldn't see any fever, rashes, nothing. Mental health is actually what goes deep inside a child. What thoughts they have formed of themselves, what beliefs, or how they take their social surroundings and how they perceive and cope with it. So that is actually what is mental health. It is very important to understand that mental health includes our quality of life, our being able to find balance between many parts of our lives. For if I talk about parents, between their different work cultures, between their responsibilities, being a parent also with a partner, and different responsibilities, roles that each parent fulfills. For children especially, of how they are, everybody seek respect, right? Everybody seeks, we all have that craving for love and affection. And for children also, so how they are being treated in the relationship with friends, what directly or verbal or non-verbal praises we are giving to them, what is our mode of communication, that affects a lot for children these days. So for us, it is very important to stress on mental health in schools and right from start, to keep children aware first of their emotions and to tell them to accept whatever they are being going through, or to just accept and acknowledge their emotions, which is very important. So when I talk about giving mental health services as Bal Sathi team, we focus a lot on assessments. For pre-assessments of early, middle, and childhood years, and our approach for different years, for developmental years, is as per their age requirements and as per the needs of the child. For example, appropriate behavior at one stage could be a red flag behavior for any other, like maybe a 3-year-old child who has limited self regulation and coping skills. We are able to easily take temper tantrums from them, right, when we deny something of that sort, which is considered typical. But for a 16-year-old child who's depicting same kind of behaviors, whose lack of self regulation, lack of coping skills, is something a red flag for all of us to actually acknowledge. So it is very important to deliver the services in a age appropriate manner. We do it a lot through behavioral assessments, because I think a lot of what is going on in our head, it comes out through the expression of behaviors. Behaviors are our actions. Could be in anything. I am not feeling okay. A child wouldn't a 9-year or a 10-year-old child would not come to the parents and tell them that mama, I had a bad day at school, or I'm not feeling okay, right? They would show in the behaviors, like they would be clinging to mother, or they would not want to go back to school the next day, or they would not want to go out and play. They're not enjoying their favorite activities. So a behavior assessment becomes a very important tool while we're working with children. Then of course, standardized psychological assessments also we are doing as Balsati team, to understand if there are some underlying medical conditions with children. Like we have seen these days, a lot of developmental delays are seen in children. So actually gauging them at the right age and providing the intervention at the earliest possible is the best tool for its management. Then detailed early intervention plans. We believe it's just not about assessments, but actually hand holding, a lot of hand holding with parents, with children, involving all our teachers and management, everyone, to provide this year-long intervention plan. Then addressing needs of children with special needs, um, providing inclusive education, appropriate strategies. We are actually providing all the strategies right from the kindergarten. Children who have been diagnosed with special needs, even while children are in pre-primary classes. So we make sure that we are giving them regular special education sessions. We are referring them for speech therapies. We are giving them the right opportunities in the classroom, also based upon their needs and based upon their skills as well. um, Interactive workshops, I think, which is the best way to connect with parents, teachers, and everybody, which we do on a regular 2-month basis. So we have certain we have for every month we have specified number of. I request everybody to please mute yourself so that we can avoid any disturbance that's in between. Okay, so I think workshops are the best way, and what we've done is for every month we have given specific topics that we'll be discussing with children and what we'll be delivering workshops with. So that also helps a lot. While to give a holistic approach and to be on a same platform, so that we know, yes, we are on the right page. So as I said, physical assessments involves a lot of health checkups. Now, when I talk about psychological team, what we do is we start with the assessments of learning style. Now, this is what we found, that this is extremely important. Being in the educational field and being in a school, academic performance is one of the very important aspects of child's development years, and it contributes a lot of to their motivation and also to self-esteem. We have had parents, like, just sharing some cases with you, or some instances, like we have had parents who shared with us that हम इसको पूरा दिन पढ़ाते हैं, we've been teaching him all day, सुना भी देता है, but exam में we don't know what happens and then he's not able to perform. So I think that's the point where need to work upon that. Yes, the child is sitting with the parents are also giving the time, but the child is not able to perform. So we need to try and understand what is actually the underlying reason. Is it the medical reason, or is it the approach that we are using with the child while teaching him? So it depends. As we know, there are three dominant learning styles in children: visual, auditory, and kinesthetic. So are we actually teaching the child based upon their dominant learning style? That is also very important. Then intelligence type, we also work upon building skills and strength. That is what we believe in. So right from identifying what are the strength areas of the child and motivating them for those strength areas is what we believe in. Then checking adjustment, dealing with failures, and I think this is the need of the hour at this point of time, of how children accept the failures, to be able to tell them that it is okay if you fall down. So because that is something, a step,
Hello.
the more you practice, the more you're able to be best at it. Right from start, like when we just start walking, right at the age of 8 months or 9 months, children often fell down, right? And they fell down and then again stand up and they start walking. So the failure is completely the same way. We have to tell them that we have to accept this and move ahead and take that as an opportunity to learn from
Well, ma'am.
what we were not able to perform. Motivation building
Hello,
also is
Achal, ma'am.
extremely important. Yes, sir.
Can you hear me? Yeah, are you
Yes.
using slides? Because slides we cannot see.
Sorry.
Are you using a PPT?
Yes, I'm using a PPT.
But we are not able to see slides. Only the same screen is there, where PPT folder is there.
Okay.
Achal, the thing is, I thought that you were speaking. The slides that we made, no, the PPT we prepared, that is not visible. It isn't open.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
It's a
PPT is
blank
not open.
screen.
Okay, I thought it is opening.
No, you can see it
Okay,
on your
okay.
screen.
I'll share it again. Yes, ma'am,
Please
I
share
can
it.
see it on my screen.
Okay,
I'll
because
share it
all what
again.
you said right now, I think
Okay.
that it was not coming on the screen.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
I will share the PPT again. Can we see it now?
Yes, we can see it now.
Okay, that's great. Okay, so I like to continue.
Can you just give a small this thing now? Now we can just see. So can you just read one or
Yes,
two lines?
yes, ma'am. So as I was here, um, so while we are doing, as a psychological team works for with the doing the assessments with the children, we focus more on identifying their dominant learning styles, their intelligence type, adjustment levels, what is the take of child on dealing with failures, how they take failures, how they're dealing with their weaknesses, how okay are they with sharing that, um, we think that this is something that is holding us, or this is not what our comfort zone is. Motivation building, I think one of the most important things, and things become more easier once you always have that inner push within you and you have that motivation. So children work best when they actually want to do something and they enjoy, and that comes innately in them. Aggression and anger control, which is also becoming one of the major flag areas where parents are or children are expressing this. So we need to actually tell children the difference between anger and aggression. We have to make them aware that anger is a very normal emotion, but we need to set boundaries even while we are angry, and we have to learn that we have to understand and differentiate when our anger is turning into aggression. And that's when we actually need to step in and learn the coping mechanisms and anger management control techniques. Then combating adolescence turmoil. I'll talk more about this in our coming slides. Appropriate career choices, avoiding harmful and risky behavior, which again comes with as the adolescence sets in, and we want a lot of things come with in terms of trial, as peer pressures, just as an experimentation. So I think that also we need to communicate it to our children. So we do a lot of assessments to address that, what is the risk taking behaviors of these children, or how they are taking all these, or how they are, what is their perception towards substance use and abuse these days. And social and life skills, which is extremely important, as laid by WHO, the 10 life skills guidelines, we are totally adhering to that and delivering it to our children. So as per the requirement and need of each child, individual sessions and workshops with them are scheduled and taken up. If we feel that a specific child requires an individual one-to-one session, then we make sure that we schedule those sessions with them. It could be weekly sessions, or it could be twice in a month session based. Again, that approach is exactly need based and individualistic approach. Or if we think that certain issues can be addressed through workshops, like a self-awareness, if I talk about, or if I talk about addressing assertiveness, or inculcating pro-social behaviors. So I think a best technique is through workshops, and we also do it a lot through peer building. So we encourage children to come up and to share. Last year only a few of our students, they had attended some workshop outside on anger management and on self control. So and they came and shared with ma'am that we want to do this workshop and we have attended something. So those children, actually they conducted workshop with the 6th and 7th standard students. So 8th standard students conducted workshop with 6th and 7th standard students. So a lot of peer learning and peer building also works very best with children, because that's something age group they can associate with and they learn better with them. So as rightly said, ma'am explained about our team. A lot of teamwork and holistic approach is a key to Bal Sati. So all of us are in here together, all our teachers, our management, our team, our physical team, our dietary team, our psychological team. So we are actually working together to work towards a common goal. So common concerns, if I talk about pre-primary students, right from start. So some of the skills like nutrition is something very important. So our dietitian has a lot of role to play with children over there in helping parents out in terms of their dietary requirements. Gross motor and fine motor skills, helping children to actually to develop their fine motor skills, giving them activities and actually doing that in the in sessions also, so that the fine motor skills are improved. Cognitive development, which our brain develops maturely, and most of the brain development starts at the young age, and by the time we are 6 and 7, most of the brain is already developed. So a lot of work, a lot of skill building has to be done at this age, right at the start. Then socio emotional development, how the child is relating, how they are able to express their emotions, or to be able to understand the emotions of their friends, of their caregivers, family members. Attachment styles work a lot over here. Even if we are overprotective, that affects the child in one way. If again there's a neglectful parenting style, or there's a neglectful attachment, that actually affects a child a lot. So these years are actually a very fragile years when we need to work upon these skills. Communication skills, of course, language and speech development, which requires a lot of attention in these years. Then how do we take attention seeking and temper tantrums? Because children start learning, our reaction towards their behaviors is what reinforces the child's behavior. So what are the behaviors? What are they seeking? Positive attention? Are they seeking negative attention from the parents? What are they showing? A lot of temper tantrums if they want to achieve something. So I think these are the concerns that need to be addressed right at this age. With our primary students, of course, with the lockdown, if I talk about the current pandemic, lot of the parents have been presenting us with issues of increase in screen time, no routine, no predictability, no schedules for them. And though, and this is the reason, I think that's a very much reason why the online classes are a very good way to connect to children, because children work better with the structure. So we made sure, even during the summer vacations, we made sure that we were giving summer camps, so children had a structured routine. So we were not teaching them the academic domains, but we were building their skill building through extra co-curricular activities. I think that's a very important part. When children feel normal, the more they feel in routine, the more they have predictability of what to do next. So that works best with these children. Also, parents, a lot of parents reported to us that they are refusing to even indulge in their favorite activities, or loss of interest, lack of motivation. So I think this is a time when children need that special attention and care of ours, and to actually understand and to have a clear, transparent communication with them. So at this age, I think we children start developing beliefs, ideas about them, peers become very important, and friends, they want to spend time with friends. A lot of things happen with play and everything around that. For teenagers, again, I think these are the years when this is actually the adolescence, is a time of a lot of confusion, wanting independence, freedom, rebellion. If you tell an adolescent that you have to go right, they would specifically want to go towards the left, right? So I think these are and this is totally normal, healthy part of every child growing up. Every child has a story, every adolescent has a story to tell. And we have to understand that we as parents, we don't have to be Sherlock Holmes with them, right? We have to actually do a lot of teamwork with children at this age, and that's how we can spread, and that's how we can have a healthy development at those years, helping children through a lot of roller coaster of emotions that are going on within them, right? A lot of work needs to be done on self awareness about their emotions, about their strengths, because we're finding extremely difficult these days, adolescents, because of the rise in media dependence and social media, a lot of information being taken from there, and there have been low self esteem, and a lot of risk taking behaviors. So we need to discuss them about all these things, about appropriate and responsible use of media, telling them about their identity development, giving those freedoms with and telling them with the trust that we believe in you, that whatever you're doing, and no matter what you do, we are with you and we support you, right? That is actually what is important. And at this age, a lot of support is required for teenagers. How we deal with students is something what always work with children of all age group is a support. We need to talk openly, we need to tell them that we actually understand, and we are listening, we are here for you, we are not judging you, we are not giving tags to you. Exactly as ma'am rightly said, we are not labeling any child, because we totally believe that labels are for jars and cookie jars and everything, they're not for children. So we're not labeling any child. We just try and understand their perspective, their struggles, their beliefs about any situation, and work through that. And we assure them that this is actually just a phase of what they're being going through, and there's a lot that is coming ahead. And that is what we need to prepare ourselves for lives, for challenges. And this is just a phase, and just acceptance, a lot of acceptance works best with children. So as I rightly said, the things we need to say to children, and we believe as counselors, why children open up to us, why children actually are willing to come and confide in us, because we tell them that we know that this is hard for them and we want to help. We have seen them through sad and anxiousness, and we actually understand what it is actually to being in that state of anxiousness, of not being liked, of being said any wrong comment, or not being happy with our own body and our skin, looking on the social media with so many likes. So there are lot many things, lot many vulnerabilities children are facing these days. We just need to tell them that it's not a big deal, and we are here to with you to deal with you, and we believe in you. So as we said, if you want children to improve, let them overhear the nice things you say about them to others. um, so Okay, so a lot of work. When I say assessments, now I know it is where how we do the assessments. Now we know that children, as I said, children at times they also don't know what is troubling them. They just might say, "Okay, I don't know, I'm irritable. I don't feel like talking to anybody. I'm agitated." They also don't know what is actually the reason, or they might be putting, they might be blaming, or they might be putting to somebody else, because they also don't understand what is actually troubling them. So we involve a lot of creative expressive techniques with children, and believe me, this works the best with children in form of colors. Colors is one of the favorite language that children speak. Give them the colors, give them stories, drawing. This is the first point of conversation that children relate with. We do a lot, we use a lot of these techniques. I'll explain to you this with the help of a small case study, not taking much of everybody's time. So an 11-year, this we had it, we experienced this incident in our school. That's why I'm sharing this. And all of the confidential information and private information has not been disclosed over here, and names have been changed because we don't want to leak out the information of a child and to keep the confidentiality. So just sharing with you in order to help you understand and to spread awareness about how children relate to and how they actually express themselves. So an 11-year-old child, he had been referred by the parents, stating that he was teased by other children in the school. So this is what actually the child reported at home. So the parents came in and they spoke to us, and then as we gathered all the information from teachers, from peers, from discipline in charges of our school on the complaint made that the child is being teased at times. But it was observed that no such incident of teasing actually has happened in the school. Neither did the child confide much. The child was also not able to give much information about it. So he was just said, "I was teased." He was not able to give us much names and anything. And we inquired a lot about it, but not no such incident of teasing had been reported in the school. So now the child was referred to the Balsati team to actually to have a discussion with him. So while the child came up with us to the counselor during the session, we found him, he had a very low tone, and he seemed very resistant during the session. We were trying and talking to him and trying to identify what is the reason why he's feeling sad and why he's low, but he wasn't coming up. The entire scenario was becoming like a more of a closed interview, and that is what not is comfortable with children. So to shift the energy of the session and to actually understand what actually is disturbing the child and what are his thoughts, what are his emotions beneath these expression of his feelings and what was he's going. So we decided that we'll administer some self-expression techniques. So we told them, okay, let's draw human figure. Now these human figures, these are actually, this is we call as a draw person test. This is actually a scientific way of identifying, or actually it's a personality assessment tool that helps us to identify personality traits, the beliefs, how a child takes himself, how they cope with the situations, what are the feelings that they have about themselves. So we told them, he drew a drawing, and so we told them to draw two figures, and he drew it very nicely. And then while we actually assessed and we interpreted those human figures, we could actually depict that there was a lot of agitation in him, feelings of low self-esteem, feeling jealousy about self, inferiority, and there was a withdrawal behavior and aggressive tendencies in the child. So that was observed. Nothing of this sort had been reported by the child or the parents, but this what we could understand just by the drawing that he had made. So then okay, so this was one thing. So then we decided, okay, let's tell the child to depict a story, because that's how children relate better. So he started narrating a story. He even wrote a lot many things, and that is the time when we read his stories, but we could actually understand what was it. So we got to know that the child had been diagnosed with a medical condition. It was an autoimmune infection that he'd been diagnosed 1 year back, and the infection had become so severe that the child's immunity had been affected. His muscular movements had been affected a lot. There had been stiffness in muscles. He had difficulty in walking. He had difficulty in breathing. He had difficulty in and is now not able to complete his homework. So and on gathering all this of information, we called in the parents and we asked them what is the risk. So parents shared with us the reports. They told us how this had been how he has been taken up, how difficult, how stressful it started being at home, and because of the muscle weakness, he was able to complete his work. The child had formed this perception of him that I have been diagnosed with a medical condition, and I'm continuously going to hospitalizations. I'm continuously taking medicines, and I don't know. There was a lot of fear associated with this illness, and the constant stress that was there in his mind. He was impacted a lot because of this treatment, and how he had to cope with. So we decided upon the intervention plan that we had to work with. So we involved parents in this, counsel them to create a healthy environment at home, um, and to have a positive environment at home, not to discuss about the child's medical condition at home, give him the credible information about his condition, and to only discuss what is age appropriate with him, and to take it in a more positive way and indulge in more praise and a specific praise for children. That is what is important. And this complaint of teasing was actually a defense mechanism that was used by the child in order to cover up all these feelings and worry and inferiority that he had formed within himself, and to actually escape out of the situation. We healthy rap with him. So we do a lot of art and play therapy with children that works the best with them, to actually change on their beliefs patterns and develop good problem solving skills, focus on the positives and motivate a lot of self-esteem building. And since we use a very holistic approach, teachers were also to make sure that he was involved in tip. He was is that we follow a lot in our school. So we made him a buddy, involved him in activities. He was very much interested in music, so we made sure that we involve him in a lot of this. So actually, it's the something of this sort. It is actually we need to explore out. Children have unidentified potentials. So we just need to explore those potentials in children. Um, so again, one of the cases is, so I'd like to share that help is always at an arm's length for students who are going through difficult time or just need advice and support. So I would suggest everybody, since we are in this, to give our unconditional support to them for everybody. Balsati, ma'am, if you want to take up anything that anybody wants to ask us something, please feel to go ahead.
Everybody, I hope that the presentation was understandable, and I'm sure Anchal has explained everything, and I saw it also explained everything to you so well. And as the principal of the school, and as this thing, I wanted to tell you that it really works very well. And we have such different we have seen such changes in children that it sometimes it feels like a miracle when you see a child changing, when you see a child doing so well and responding better. And it not only reflects in the good marks that they get or the way they improve themselves, where the grades and everything are there. I consider that to be very secondary, right? What I consider for the most important thing I see is a change in the way they've been dealing with their dealings with life improves, and how they are becoming more stronger from inside, and whatever happens, they are not giving it to in. And this is what we need in today's world. We have so many things going around us, and recently we have seen Sushant Singh Rajput's this thing, sad thing that has happened, and it has actually troubled everybody. And I wanted to tell you, though he's so far and we don't know him, but I'm sure everybody must have felt connected, and everybody must have felt the person who seems to be so laughing and so smiling and being so you feel when you look at the people, you feel they're so sure about themselves and they're doing so well in life, but what is actually happening inside is something we do not have any idea about. So this is the time when we are with our children in the school, we can stop these things happening in future. This is the time that we can work with the children and make them more stronger from inside, that they can face any problem that that comes in their life. And if it is a no and they don't want to do it, they know that, okay, this is not for me. Let me do something else. Let me not just give in that, okay, now there's nothing left for me to do in the world. It's nothing like that. It's nothing. And then we have seen so many incidents like that Boris locker room incident, which happened, right? So if you see today's generation, I think it is very tech savvy. And if you look, technology is like an extension of their own inner self, right? It's an extension of it's their consciousness. It is, it's extension of their own self. So they are so tech savvy, and they are so, technology is such a thing. You find most of them playing games these days so much. So, and you cannot restrict them all the time, right? You can't say that, no, don't do it. And that also creates such a big problem, because I'm dealing with one such in my friend's family. So I can tell you that, and this is one case, Achal, I'll be discussing with you. And we have to do something to help these people, because it's not only a school that we look into this. We try to help everywhere possible. So what I wanted to say, that as educationists, when we are all together today here, and we know that mental health is something which is most important. When we talk about mental health, we are talking about everything. We are talking about social, emotional, physical, and all developments. If a person is mentally healthy, if a person is knows how to handle their own self, right? And they have time for their own self, they find out time for their own self, then surely you will find that these children are ready to face the world tomorrow in a better way, deal with anything. We should be ready to make our children ready to face the failures also. Who has promised that everything good is going to happen in life? There are going to come failures. There are going to come times when we don't get what we want. There are the times when things will happen which you thought that are never going to happen with you, right? But it happens. Then we have to learn to deal with it. We can sit for some time, be quiet, and then further we can go on and learn. We get up again, and we need to face it. And this is what we need to teach to our children, more than only asking them to do well in the studies. A school has to be a place where a child has to learn these things more than only books. Because if you have made a child mentally stable, mentally strong, then academics is just something very easy for the child. It can be done in seconds. And then we have to teach our parents also to control their expectations from a child, and not to live their dreams through their children. If they do this, then also the child will be more stable. There will be more stability with the child. So not only this Bal Sathi, when we talk about mental health, that is my main topic for today that I wanted to come and share with you, because these are the things which we are doing. These are the experiments and initiatives that we have taken in our schools in Ramagya and in all our branches. And we have found a lot of change in the children. So we have this Bal Sathi program, and other than the Bal Sathi program, we also have a quiet time program, which is meditation. I wanted to speak to you about this also, because this is something that we have been doing for a year with our children. And we do with our children transcendental meditation. And we are doing it two times a day, twice a day, when the children are sitting with themselves. As such, they are busting with life. They are they have got one period after the other. They are running for this, running for that, playing music, dance, all these things. So twice in the day, we have this meditation time. And after the prayer in the morning, children sit for meditation with the teacher. Wherever they are, they just sit with their eyes closed. This is the time when they can, when you can say that this is the real time they have for themselves, right? They are only talking to their own self. They're connected to their innermost core. So when they do this meditation, and so this they are trying to realize, they're becoming more self-aware. Self-awareness is a very, very important thing. And knowing their own self, realizing the potentials which are there, will definitely make them shoot out to anything that they dream of tomorrow. This is going to open up all the opportunities for them in the world. And anything that you dream of, anything that you want to do in your life, nothing is going to be impossible for you. If you know yourself, you know your own self-worth, you're aware of your own self. So meditation is also a very, very important part. And with meditation also, we have experimented with the children, we have observed them, and we have seen that how with meditation the grades also have been improving, and they've shown tremendous change in their behavior, their discipline. The school is more disciplined now. And it's not only children. Meditation and Bal Sati, counseling and all, we do with our teachers and our other admin staff also. That they also do the same things. And I find a different level of maturity in my teachers. Now they are dealing with anything that they're facing with the children, any problem, right? They are just not giving in and getting frustrated, not thinking ki mujhse to ye hoga hi nahi, is bacche se to ye hoga hi nahi. Ye sentence to we do not have it in our school. And now we do not have it at all, by God's grace. We are working on it. It is now 1.5 years with Bal Sati, and 1 year that we have been doing transcendental meditation in our school. And these are the changes that we are observing, that yes, I can definitely say that the school is now a happy school. And I will give full credit to the gifts that we have in our school, and which is Bal Sati and meditation and many other things that we keep on working on. So I just thought that I'll take this opportunity when Mr. Seni approached me, that if there's something that I want to do, I really thought that yes, why not? If it is something that you feel that is bringing changes in one school, in one this thing, why not the change comes in the fraternity? Why don't we share our experiences with each other? This COVID-19 time, the pandemic situation that we have, has brought all of us so close, right? And we all now are so much aware, and we all are so close to each other. We can come on these meetings, we can share our experiences. Can I have silence, please? Can everybody be on mute? I can hear somebody talking. When we do these things, we realize and we find that how much changes are coming in the entire environment in the school, and how children have become children, and the teachers and everybody who's connected with the school is moving towards a happy life. Happiness is the first thing that we should look forward. That every person knows that happiness is something which can be achieved from inside. To search for it outside. That is so if there are anything, the hosts are there in meeting right now.
Yes, ma'am. We are hearing you.
Yes.
Please mute yourself.
If there's something, a question or something that anybody wants to ask, if they want to this thing, so we are open to it. So please ask so that we can share our experiences with each other. If there's something anybody wants to say, let's just do that. Mrs. Seni, please, you can see if there's some questions.
Yes, ma'am. One person has raised their hand, and I want to invite Mr. Abdul Salam, sir. Yes. Please ask if you have any question, any query with you.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
Yes, this is more specific regarding psychology. So I hope that whether Anchal madam give answer for this question.
Yes, please. Anchal, you are there?
Yes, ma'am, I'm
disorders, here. What are the psychomotor disorders you come across when you deal with children?
Psychosomatic.
What are psychomotor disorders? Psychosomatic disorders when you deal with the children. Psychosomatic disorders.
Yes, okay. I think I had mentioned this term in my slide as well. So psychosomatic, what is psychosomatic, first we have to understand. So anything, kabhi kabhi we might have heard children saying ki आज पेट दर्द हो रहा है, स्कूल नहीं जाना, राइट? और वी हैव हर्ड एग्जाम से पहले बहुत, all of us face some kind of tension in our stomach, or we have a mild headache. So what psychosomatic term actually means, a psychological process which is going underneath, which is affecting your bodily physical sensations, right? So maybe for me, that actually happened with me also when I was in school. So whenever next day I used to have my exam, so ek din pehle I used to have upset stomach most of the time, or so something of this sort. So that stress, your psychological factor, is actually affecting your physical symptoms in the body, that is known as psychosomatic. At times this often comes up in children when they feel some very repressed emotion, something which is conflicting in them and it is not coming to the surface. So this come in the form of psychosomatic issues. This is also present in adults in the form of tingling feelings. At times we might have heard people telling us कि कुछ ठंडा लग रहा है पैरों में, or there's some trembling feelings that we are feeling. But when we actually go and we get it diagnosed, there's no underlying physical condition. You get ample of tests done, but you will have all the reports would be totally normal. One of the reason is also when we face a lot of phobias or panic with children, right? So they actually experience so extreme physical sensations, but we went to actually find out the physical reasons behind it. There's none. It is all related to the brain. And how it is related, I'll just explain you briefly in a small biological cycle as well. So there's a system in a brain which is limbic system, that is actually responsible for our emotions, how we address emotions. Now emotions, when I say, it could be happy, sad, joy, and even hunger, right? So that is the part of the brain that is responsible for emotions. Now hypothalamus, ab hamare brain mein there's a part that is hypothalamus. So hypothalamus, whenever we experience some form of dangers, we experience some form of stressors around us, hypothalamus, it releases a hormone that goes to the pituitary gland in the brain. Then pituitary then gets activated. It releases another hormone, which in terms we might have heard adrenaline rush, we say a lot, right?
Yes.
So these are some of the stress hormones that are there, and when these stress hormones are released, it impacts our body. It could be in terms of choking feeling that at times we feel, or increased in heart rate, increased in bodily sensations. So this is a normal physical response that happens in a body whenever we face any of the dangers and any of the stressors around. So psychosomatic is something that comes to the surface because of the psychological issue, but we do not have any underlying physical issues in this. Children who present with psychosomatic issues, they have, हम उसको बोलते हैं, they have a lot of internalizing problems. Now when I say internalizing issues, it comes in forms of anxiety, it comes in form of worry. These are some of the internalizing issues. And when I say externalizing, it comes in the form of aggression. One child might be very quiet, one child might get very anxious while they are in a stressful situation. That is
Anchal ma'am?
internalizing, and that
Anchal
is
ma'am?
seen as a form of psychosomatic. Yes sir.
Anchal ma'am? Anchal ma'am?
Yes
Can
sir,
you able to hear?
I can hear
Anchal
you.
ma'am, can you able to hear?
I
Is
can
there
hear
any
you.
provision to identify the psychosomatic? Is there any provision to find a psychosomatic disorder through psychometric test?
Yes, sir. So all that is first, a lot of when we are working with children, a lot depends upon case histories that we take up with parents of since when these issues have been addressed, to actually understand the precipitating factor. Hamesha, whenever some of the issue is addressed, it is always preceded by an event. So we try and address that event, and then we have standardized assessment tools that assess the psychosomatic. So as I said, personality assessments. Then we have some behavior checklist that we do a lot. That is also one of the reason we do a lot of behavior checklist in our school, because because when we do behavior checklist, it has lot of questions which incorporate both internalizing symptoms and externalizing symptoms. So it comes. So yes, of course, answering your
Yes,
question, we
yes.
have standardized tool which can clearly depict us the picture of psychosomatic disorders in children.
So it's all about the hormones secreting like dopamine, serotonin, adrenaline. What do you say?
Dopamine
It's
is a
all about
very
the hormones, serotonin, dopamine, adrenaline, the pumping, which leads to stress.
yes, sir. But to just to correct you
Yeah.
over here, dopamine is a very happy
Dopamine is
hormone. Yeah. Okay, I think I'm audible now. So when we say dopamine is secreted, that is the time when children perform a lot of physical activity they are enjoying. So basically, stress hormone, what we call is cortisol, is one of the stress hormone that is related to it. But just by telling that it is only the biological reason, no, it also has a psychometric reason. It could be lot of underlying psychological issues that the child might be repressing. Okay, some kind of incidents or trauma that might have happened. Usually psychosomatic is usually comes to the surface post any precipitory or traumatic event. So if you
Very
have
good,
any child
wonderful.
who's been facing this, so I think the first thing is the child should go for assessment.
Yes, yes, wonderful session, Achal. Thank you. And it was really a very informative session, I must say. So uh, I don't think that any more questions are there because people are not raising their hands. So you already discussed all the things. Can you hear me all?
Yes, we can hear you.
You want to tell more or should I wind up the session? Is there anything remaining regarding this topic?
So just last words from my end as we
Okay.
conclude.
Sure, welcome.
Okay. So I think a program like Bal Sathi should be the one that we should incorporate in our schools, and it requires a lot of hand-holding and support from the management, from the principal. And I'm glad that we have ma'am with us who's so pro and who's so active actually in addressing mental health. Even during the lockdown, I think ma'am is the one who's been constantly motivating us and supporting us in doing all these workshops, even while we are doing online with children based upon this. And our teachers who are supporting us all through the best platforms, and they're so open to take suggestions from us while we are giving them. They're always open to learn. So I think that is one of the main thing that we need to work when we are working with children. We need to have that attitude of learning. The more we are open to learning and open to accept the change, I think we all will be the torch bearers of happy children from now on. So thank you, ma'am, for giving me this opportunity to express my views over here. And thank you, Anil sir, for supporting us this initiative, and everybody for the audience to actually be out there and to be so receptive towards us. Thank you.
Thank you, Achal. It was really a very informative session, and I think कि अभी सबका विजन जो एक मेंटल हेल्थ को लेके बहुत हद तक क्लियर हो गया होगा और I must appreciate your Bal Sathi program, and every school must means take this initiative to have program like Bal Sathi in their schools. It will help principals like us a lot. It will reduce mental stress from our side also, and in the brain of students also. We will be getting to know what is going on in their minds and their psychology also. So a short story is coming in my mind. There was a boy who stood first from nursery class onwards. He never stood even in the second position. Then he got admission in the top IIT college. Then he got a job in US in the top company, and he got married to a girl who has the same like he was having she also stood first every time, and then she was in the top company. They got married. Then you know very well that many years back, there was a huge recession in US, America. So in that recession, they lost their jobs. So they were not able to handle that mental stress, and they committed suicide. And see why suicide? Because they only know see uh, how to see the success only. They have never seen the failure. They have never faced the failure. So this helps us a lot. We should teach our students how to face the failure. This is must in these days. Why people are committing suicide? Whenever a little failure comes in their life, they are not able to handle that failure. They are emotionally that weak that they are taking this step. So again, many thanks to Aparna Maggie ma'am for accepting my invitation in a very short span of time. And again, very thanks to Achal ma'am also for describing all the things in a very broad manner and making this webinar a great success. So, and thank you all the participants also who spared their time for us
Mr.
and
Anil
who are
Sani, I would like to
constantly
say something.
listening to us. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Welcome.
Sorry, I'm sorry for disturbing you, but I don't want the time to go finish before me thanking you that not only for giving us a chance to share this particular thing, which I'm going to so many places to share this only because I want to bring the change in the children. And
Yes.
more than that, I'm so grateful to you for giving this chance for us to do this. And more than that, I wanted to thank you for coming up with things like IPO, a good organization where we can interact so much better and we all can learn so much from each other. So when and it has been so thoughtful and so positive from your side to come up with the idea and bring up such a fraternity of educationists where people come and share each other's ideas and teach each other so much. It's all learning experience. And in the end, we all are LLL, lifelong learners. And how we learn is how we our job is to learn and then to take it further to our children, to our peer group, and to everybody. So thank you so much. It's been a wonderful experience to be here.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you once again for your motivational words, and see how AIPO is doing. This cannot be happen like without leaders like you. I have a very big support, and without your support, I alone cannot do these things. So all of the members who are present here again, from the bottom of my heart.
And a big thank you to all the participants. And anytime, if anybody feels that they want to know more about it, how we actually do it in the school, if anybody is interested, then they can take my contact number and things from Mr. Seni, and we will definitely help you. We will definitely help you set up things in the systems like Bal Sathi in your school. Thank you so much for listening to us and for being there. Otherwise, people normally come for some time and then go, but then all of you have been listening to it so attentively, and I am sure it must have made a difference to you. And anytime you need us, we are there. This is an education. As educationists, we all are a big family, and we are here to change the world. So let's do it together, and let's make sure that we are constantly in touch with each other.
Okay, it will be a great support to all of us who are present here. If they have any problem, they can directly contact you. So with these words, I am going to end this meeting here now. So thank you once again, and have a very wonderful days ahead. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. God bless you. Have a wonderful evening and take care of yourself and stay safe. Thank you.